What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear OKC Thunder?
Dogs.
Entering the 2024 NBA lottery night, the Thunder had their name called at 12, a pick that they received in the Russell Westbrook-Chris Paul deal that feels like it was a lifetime ago, even if it's only been 5 years. OKC actually has a fun history with the number 12 pick, being that that's the same spot where they drafted J-Dub/Jalen Williams in the 2022 NBA draft, the same slot where they picked up the big Kiwi Steven Adams in 2013, and going back to the late Sonics era before the move to OKC, Nick Collison was drafted at 12 in 2003, long before he would become Mr. Thunder. More on Collison later. But today's topic of discussion, or should I say, Topić of discussion,
oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Is Nikola Topić, who OKC grabbed at the familiar spot at 12 in the 2024 NBA draft. Quickly before I continue with this video, I wanted to mention that we are under 50 subscribers away from 500 and the launch of the giveaway of this one-of-one autographed Aaron Wiggins Save Basketball poster. So subscribe and share this channel with your friends, and let's get this giveaway started. Standing at 6'6", 203 pounds with a 7-foot wingspan, Nikola Topić has been playing professional basketball since he was 16 years old. Hailing from Serbia, Topić joins not only the recent surge of Serbian players in the NBA, but also the growing Nikola movement that is slowly taking over the league. At 18 years old, Topić entered the NBA draft as an intriguing prospect with many unique skills and talents, but what are those skills and talents, and can they translate to the NBA? I dove into some tape, articles, and more research on all things Topić to find out for myself. One of the more popular lazy critiques of the Topić pick was that the Thunder were essentially replacing Josh Giddey with another Josh Giddey, and a questionable to bad shooter, and a defender who, although has a high basketball IQ, also has some physical limitations that hold them back. This isn't entirely an unfair view, but they're absolutely not the same player, even if they do share some similarities. Here's how the two compare with a little bit more depth in my opinion, rather than just a surface level quick glance to comp two players. On the positive end, Topić and Giddey do share the common thread with the gift of passing, but even in that, they go about it a little bit differently. Josh has more flash to his passing with moments that pop off the screen and how he moves the ball and gets his teammates easy shots. Topić, I would say, is a step below Josh as a passer. This is less me being down on Topić and more just the respect I have for Josh's passing skills. Before the Caruso trade, I was actually working on a Giddey video talking about his passing, so if that's something that interests you, please let me know down in the comment section below and I'll get that out to you. But back to Topić, he's clean and efficient with his passing, making the right decision pretty consistently with pinpoint accuracy. He isn't going to have nearly the volume of highlight passes behind the back, no looks, and more that Josh had. Topić at times will show off his ability to make some high-level playmaking reads and passes that most players can't replicate, but for the most part he's sort of like a quarterback who checks the ball down and occasionally will break out a big pass or a deep ball here and there to keep the defenses honest. With a 6'8" frame, Josh Giddey had the ability to barrel towards the rim and use his body to create some separation for his finishes. Topić creates separation with his quick and dynamic first step to get by his man. Topić is not some incredible athlete, but his quickness really stands out on a lot of these drives where he's able to get his defender out of position pretty consistently with jab steps and swift hesitation moves. Topić does a great job of keeping an unpredictable pace offensively that denies defenses a consistent feel for how he plays and attacks. Constant starts and stops that only became more effective with the amount of on-ball screens he used with his team's offense. Josh on many of his drives liked to get shots up from inside the paint with a lot of flips, floaters, and spinning layups around the defense where at times it felt like he was trying to avoid contact at the rim. When Topić attacks the basket, he knives through defenses non-stop on downhill attacks. It really surprised me just how consistently and easily he was able to penetrate opposing defenses. He's a great feel for angles to get into the paint, and once he's there, he also has great body control on a lot of these finishes, even if he isn't getting some crazy hang time. Getting to the rim and finishing at the rim are two very different things that not many players can do at the same time. But Topić is not only an elite driver, but he finishes at a super efficient 68% at the basket. Topić is not a one-trick pony on his finishes either. He can basically cook it up at the rim in any way you want it. He has great touch that allows him to use parts of the glass, which opens him up to even more angles to finish from. He has the flips, scoops, up and unders, bumps, and more. Lastly, Topić really impressed me with his ability to finish at this clip comfortably with either hand. When he's attacking downhill, he does a great job of taking what the defense is giving him and adapting on where he wants to go to finish at the rim rather than relying on getting to his dominant hand on his way to the basket. In a lot of ways, how Topić attacks the paint and finishes efficiently at the rim reminds me of a different OKC guard in the past few seasons in Shai-des Of SGA.
You didn't say that.
tell me you did not just say that?
Now, before you come for my head, start protesting or burning this channel down, let me explain. I'm not saying that Topić is going to be Shai. Shai is a top 5 player in the entire world, one of the most efficient scorers in the NBA, and more. I'm merely saying in terms of approach on drives and focusing on getting into the paint, Topić is more similar to Shai than he is to Giddey. SGA has led the NBA in drives per game in each of the past 4 seasons, so it's pretty easy to say that he loves to get downhill. Topić, in a similar way on most of his possessions I watched, prioritizes getting penetration and then evaluating from there on his next move. He calmly weighs his options on whether he has a window to score or if he needs to pass it out and get the ball moving again. The Thunder play a lot of 5-out offense, but many of the great shots that OKC generates comes from the drive and kick game. The defense is forced to collapse, which allows the Thunder to start getting the blender going where the ball pings all around. I think Topić will fit right in when it comes to this aspect of the Thunder's offense. And if he can prove that he is enough of a shooting threat that other teams have to contest his shots, then he can also get to the drive and dish game attacking opposing closeouts. But let's get into his shooting, which has been one of the bigger questions and concerns when it comes to Topić. I thought a fun and informative way to get a feel for him currently as a shooter and his shooting potential would be to compare Topić to a couple of past European team guards who made it to the NBA in Goran Dragić and former Thunder player Vasa Micić. Vasa Micić at 18 years old only played 8 games due to injury, so for the sake of using a healthy and bigger sample size, I'm going to use his age 17 season. During that year, Micić averaged 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists on 38.5, 23.8, and 64 shooting splits in 26.8 minutes per game across 14 games for Mega. Next, Topić last season, like Vasa, also played for Mega, where the 18-year-old Thunder draft pick averaged 19 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists on 52, 29, 85 shooting splits in 34 minutes per game in 13 games. And lastly, Goran Dragić at 18 years old was playing for KD Sloven in the Adriatic League, where he averaged 15.2 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, and 3 assists on 64, 33, 73 shooting splits while playing 30.4 minutes a night through 26 games. In those seasons, Dragić attempted just over 3 shots from 3-point range per game, Vasa attempted roughly half as many as Dragić at 1.5 threes a game, and finally, Topić last season with Mega attempted just over 4.5 threes a game. So looking at the percentages, Topić shot better than Vasa from 3 at 29% compared to Vasa's 23.8%, but Dragić tops the trio shooting 33% from deep. But what I'm more concerned with and have my eyes on is the volume of shots to get a bigger sample size as a shooter, which falls in favor of Topić, who had more production in 3-point attempts. The next thing that I'm looking to is free throw shooting, which often can be a good indicator on whether a player could eventually develop into a shooting threat from 3. Topić is clearly the best free throw shooter from the line at 87% compared to Dragić at 73.3% and Vasa at 64%. I will say, for the sake of fairness though, Dragić did attempt basically as many free throws by himself as Topić and Micić did combined in their seasons. So point Dragić when it comes to free throw volume and sample size of his free throw shooting abilities. But the more I look over these shooting numbers, I don't feel like it's a massive stretch to think that Topić at some point in his career could outperform or match Dragic's level as a shooter who shot 46, 36, 77 splits throughout his 15 seasons as a pro in the NBA. And if he's able to reach those heights and go beyond as a shooter, I think Topić has an incredibly high ceiling when you take his elite playmaking skills and ability to get to the rim and add on shooting from 3. That is an archetype of a dangerous offensive player for opposing teams to deal with. I would say, given the free throw numbers and the fact he will be learning from one of the best shooting coaches of all time in Chip England, I'm confident that at some point he will at the very least become a league average 3-point shooter in his career for a season. I would be lying to you if I said that I don't have any concerns about Topić as a defender. In my opinion, he would fall in the category of at least below average athleticism among NBA players. His ability to slide his feet and move laterally could definitely use some improvement, but I'm not totally sure how much that can change or if he's simply limited in that category by some aspects of his athleticism. Topić has a tendency to reach in for fouls in a lot of situations where it just seemed unnecessary to take chances on, like on 3-point shooters and other random avoidable fouls that are eventually going to pile up. Topić last season averaged 3 fouls per game. Fouling is obviously not all bad. There are good fouls and bad fouls, but hopefully these types of fouls he can outgrow as he's still an extremely young player. But it isn't all negative for Topić on defense. He does a great job of anticipating steals and jumping passing lanes. His high basketball IQ allows him to process the game quickly and read ahead before the play totally unfolds. I will say that a lot of his steals last season I would attribute less to his individual talent as a defender and more so generated by bad passes and teammate deflections. In my opinion, Topic's best path to improving and raising his defensive level is for him to bulk up, which he will likely do some given his youth, which should also help him become more disciplined on that end. Given the unique malleability of OKC's defensive personnel, if he is able to add on some of that weight and muscle onto his frame, I think there's a realistic path for Topić to scale up and guard bigger players who aren't as threatening off the dribble. He's in a nice position where the Thunder should be able to insulate him with a barrage of +2 elite defenders in Chet, Dort, Caruso, J-Dub, Hartenstein, Shai, Kaysen, and more, so it's going to be really interesting to see what he looks like in that fold. The biggest factor in Topic's rapid change in draft position in mock drafts from earlier this year up until shortly before the draft came down to his ACL tear in early June, which he just recently had a successful surgery on. But I think it's more important to see how the experts viewed and mocked him in the 2024 NBA draft before this injury. 1 week before his injury was reported on June 5th by Jonathan Givony, Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype put together an aggregate average 2024 mock draft by compiling 10 different mock drafts from ESPN, The Athletic, Bleacher Report, The Ringer, NBA Big Board, Yahoo Sports, CBS Sports, Sports Illustrated, SB Nation, and USA Today. The average spot that Topić was mocked to at the time before his injury was at number 4 overall, with the highest that he was projected out of the 10 mock drafts was 2, and the lowest Topić was dropping to was 7. Obviously, mock drafts should not be treated as ironclad gospel of how we should view these prospects, but given the total amount of big-time outlets all having Topić pretty high on their mock boards before his injury, I think the Thunder got somewhat of a steal of an extremely young and talented player that OKC can put in the slow cooker and take a swing on that would have cost them assets to trade up to get him if not for this injury. ACL injuries are no joke, but we're far from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s where a player tearing their ACL essentially ended their career, and they were basically taken out back like a horse with a broken leg. In the last decade, there have been quite a few ACL tears from players like Kristaps Porzingis, Jamal Murray, Kawhi Leonard, Klay Thompson, DeJounte Murray, and Zach LaVine. Some recovered better than others, but the two youngest guys of this group, and DeJounte Murray and Zach LaVine, have recovered the best, with both players going on to make their first All-Star teams after the injury. So is it guaranteed that Topić will be back and better than ever, or back being the player he was before that ACL tear? Absolutely not, but Topić being younger I think will give his body a better chance of recovering well compared to older players. And Topić isn't the first player to fall in a draft due to injury either, like when OG Anunoby, Michael Porter Jr., and Joel Embiid all ended up sliding in their individual drafts due to pre-existing injuries, and two of those players also ended up missing their rookie seasons, just like Topić will likely do. But Sam didn't make this decision to take an injured Topić without crowdsourcing opinions from some people in the know. One of his calls was to former Thunder player and another Serbian in Vasa Micić, who I have already mentioned frequently in this video. Presti consulted Vasa about his difficulties and experience as a young player coming back from a knee injury and what he had heard from other people around Serbia about Topić as a person and a player.
I want to clarify one thing. When I'm talking to Vasa, I spoke specifically to him about having an injury at that age. You know what I mean? What is that like? How could you put yourself in that position? Obviously he's Serbian, so he knows him. But I do think that having that insight from him as a foreign player and being injured, the same injury at that point in time, was super valuable for us.
I mentioned that I would get back to Nick Collison. Topić joins Collison in a unique club as players who were drafted 12 by the Thunder/Sonics and missed their rookie seasons due to injury. He may not have been drafted at 12, but OKC also has in-house another player who was unable to play in year 1 in Chet Holmgren. I will point out that the Thunder have not formally ruled out Topić for next season, but I wouldn't say it's likely that he plays for the Thunder this coming season either. Sam Presti actually cited the organization's experience with Chet 2 years ago and how it made them more comfortable selecting Nikola despite his injury.
Our experience with Chet and the time that we used with him during his first year was certainly a factor into the way we thought about this opportunity. And I think we learned some things in that instance. Totally different players, totally different situation, different ages, et cetera. But, that I think our ability to look at that as an opportunity probably allowed us to, gave us some confidence to make the decision that we did with him.
But having two guys who you can lean on in Chet and Collison for Topić, I think is going to be very big in terms of players who can relate to Topic's situation and having a long-term injury extremely earlier in their careers. Of course, I think it's safe to say that everyone would prefer that Topić never suffered this injury and could play this season. But given all the circumstances and context around him in OKC, Topić is in a pretty nice spot to start his career. Topić will still be every bit of a member of the team as he would have been if he was playing, outside of a lot of plane rides. He will be watching game film with the team, learning personnel and their scouts from all over the league, working with Chip England on his shooting, learning from the reigning Coach of the Year in Mark Daignault, and one of the best players in the world in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, plus more. So hopefully he's able to be a sponge for a lot of the great basketball minds in the organization, and he can learn from everything going on around him for that year away from games. But what do you think, Thunder fans? Are you more optimistic about Topić, glass half empty? Let me know down in the comment section below, and let's talk some Thunder basketball. And don't forget that we are almost at the 500 sub milestone, and I am giving away an autographed Aaron Wiggins Save basketball poster, so get in on that before I do the drawing. Finally, if you enjoyed what you saw and watched today, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button so I can keep putting out fun Thunder content like this. Until next time, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I think you'll like this one too. Click right here.